What's up, everybody? Welcome into this Tuesday edition of Bulls Latest. I'm your host, Matt Johnson. Let's jump right into things today. I want to preview the Bulls matchup against the Charlotte Hornets tonight at the United Center. The Bulls will host the 27-31 Charlotte Hornets. They sit in the 10th seed currently in the Eastern Conference, ahead of Milwaukee by a game and a half for that final play-in spot. This Charlotte team is young. This Charlotte team is motivated. They're looking to make a push into that play-in tournament and even make their odds better in terms of seeding to kind of climb those standings there. This is a young bunch that's hungry to get some postseason experience, no doubt. Looking at Charlotte out of the All-Star break, they are 1-2 since returning from that break, losing at home to Houston in a hard-fought battle, 105-101, and then they lost to Cleveland at home as well in another tough game against one of the Eastern Conference's better teams, 118-113, and they grabbed a win, a big win their last time out on the road on Sunday in D.C. against the Wizards, 129-112. This is a bit of an interesting note here. The Hornets list Coby White probable with his calf issue. Coby White, guys, is set to make his Charlotte Hornets debut at the United Center against the Bulls. What kind of cinema is that? That's going to be awesome to see. Coby White hasn't played since the Bulls had a game in Milwaukee on February 3rd. So Coby's been waiting to get back. It's been 3 long weeks for him. It's been a lot of change for Coby White. It's going to be very emotional for Coby White. I'm sure it'll be a lot of emotions going on the Bulls side of things as well for the players that are left, and Billy Donovan coaching against him. I mean, there's a lot of storylines there that dig back to Coby White in his days in Chicago as a Bull there. So that's certainly going to be fun to watch. Meanwhile, Anthony Simons is out for Chicago with what's being listed as a left wrist contusion rather than a sprain. That's probably meaning that the visit to the hand specialist Monday that I told you guys he was going to go take ended with some optimistic news. Was kind of fearing the worst there with him. The fact that it's being listed as a contusion is good news there. It just looks like probably a deep bruise. So Anthony Simons should be back in action sooner rather than later. We'll have to wait and get more news on him, but he will be out for this contest. Jalen Smith for the Bulls is also listed as questionable with a left calf strain. So it'll be interesting to see if he gets the nod here. The Bulls, guys, are losers of 9 in a row in 12 of their last 13 games. This is a team who has struggled mightily to win ball games. Yes, they played better against the Knicks on Sunday night, but still, we're not looking for moral victories here, guys. This is a team who's really struggled to put it together. Now, am I complaining as a Bulls fan who kind of wants them to continue to climb that draft board? Not necessarily, but it certainly is kind of a gut punch to see them lose this many games during this stretch of time here. It's been difficult to watch, and I'm sure it's been difficult to coach in terms of Billy Donovan, especially with what he's going through off the court here. We'll get to that to cap off the show. Some good news on the tanking front, kind of staying to this as we preview the matchup against the Hornets. The Sacramento Kings beat the Grizzlies last night in Memphis. That snapped their 16-game losing skid. Not to say there's going to be too many wins following this one for this Sacramento Kings team, but that's some positive news for a team the Bulls are trying to catch in terms of the bottom of the standings there. So in kind of switching gears, I wanted to jump into the betting preview for this game, guys. Charlotte comes into this game at the United Center a valid 8.5-point favorite for Tuesday night. The money line sits at minus 340 for Charlotte, plus 270 for Chicago. The total opened at 229.5. It's now up to 232.5. People are steaming the over. I get it. Lots of points expected to go up in this one, especially on the Charlotte end of things. They can score the basketball, guys. They can score in bunches. Once again, though, I love the opponent on the number in this spot, guys. Although the Bulls played a great Knicks team tight on Sunday, really up till the end and covered that spread for the first time all month, I expect Charlotte to run and gun and score the ball well and pull away from the Bulls in this one, guys. I think that Charlotte has all the means to kind of set this one up to kind of pull away late. I think it could be tight for a half, maybe three quarters, and then we see the same type of thing that we've seen so many times in Bulls games where the Bulls kind of just lose it late in the game. And I mean, you cannot. It's a legitimate factor, guys. The tank is legitimate here for this Bulls team. They may have their sights set on losing ball games. I hate to be that guy to kind of have that mindset on this team, but watching them play and just the stretch of basketball that they've been on, you never know what's going on. I know Adam Silver is really, really digging into the anti-tanking stuff for next year and years to follow. But as we stand right now, I do think the Bulls are in a bit of that situation. So how could you not want to go out and bet the Charlotte Hornets tonight if you're looking to do that sort of thing on this game? If you are willing to lay a bit of heavier juice, Charlotte money line is strong too. I do think they get this thing done, guys. So, switching gears back to a draft prospect, we talk about all this tanking and stuff. Why not preview a guy who could be a big time add to this team in the draft, guys? That's University of Illinois' Keaton Wagler. Early mock drafts, and there are a few of them out there who have the Illinois superstar going to the Bulls. Looking at it from a realistic terms, it may be a long shot for the Bulls to slide into that top 5 in the draft order, assuming they don't get extremely lucky in the lottery. But looking at the top 5 teams in the order right now, you got the Sacramento Kings, who, guys, they just snapped a 16-game losing streak. They're going to be losing plenty more going forward. You got the Indiana Pacers, who without Tyrese Haliburton are looking to kind of tank themselves to get to the top of the order and jump back into the Eastern Conference and as perennial contenders next year. You got the Brooklyn Nets and the New Orleans Pelicans. So those are teams that it's certainly going to be tough to catch them in terms of the top of the order. You got the Washington Wizards and the Utah Jazz as well. And they all seem to be primed to make up the top of that draft board, even following the lottery. So it's going to be a challenge for the Bulls to really shoot up into the top of that draft order. I just think that's why Keaton Wagler makes a lot of sense sliding down past, in the order. You got Memphis and Dallas right around Chicago as well. Sliding past them is plausible, although both of those organizations look to be set to lose a lot of ball games from now to the end of the year as well. So it's going to be a race to supremacy for those teams in the bottom of the league standings to get to the top of that draft order, guys. Back to Keaton Wagler, though. A 6'6 shooting guard. He's currently being stacked up to Tyrese Haliburton's playmaking to go along with SGA's level of efficiency when it comes to scoring by a ton of scouts, guys. Wagler is the leading scorer for U of I this year, along with being their best distributor of the basketball. He leads the team in assists per game. He averages nearly a steal per game as well, so this guy can do it all. University of Illinois is primed to make a run in the NCAA tournament, so he's certainly going to have a ton of national attention if he hasn't already. For a freshman, this kid can hoop, and if the Bulls don't win the lottery, this makes for a compelling option at 6th, 7th, or 8th in the first round if Wagler falls that far. We'll have to see kind of how things shake out for him and his draft prospects, guys. But this is a player that I really like. We'll continue to preview, guys, as we approach the end of the season in terms of where the Bulls kind of stack up in the draft lottery. So kind of wrapping things up, guys, I want to put some light, I wouldn't say light, but some attention to the February woes of the Chicago Bulls, guys, and just how bad this team has been in the month of February. It's been quite the run of losing here for this team, and I wanted to, kind of talk about where they've been in the month of February while still winless, which is 2 more games to go in the month. The Bulls have covered the spread just one time all month, and that came last time out against the New York Knicks on Sunday night at the United Center. They closed as a 9.5 point favorite, or a 9.5 point dog, I should say, ultimately dropping the game by 6 after a late run sealed it for New York. It was a 1 point game late in the game. New York went on a little bit of a run there to close things out. I was driving around Chicago yesterday listening to Bulls insider Casey Johnson on local radio. He spoke to how deflating this has been for Coach Billy Donovan specifically, and how there is still a human element to this. You see all this losing, and how as a fan you may think it could be good for the draft lottery and their odds moving forward. there's a human element to this, guys. When you take this much losing in a row, this much, this many hits in the mouth, it's tough to kind of stay positive. Now, Billy Donovan's been in this business for a long, long time. He's trying to stay in good spirits. Obviously, just lost his father as well. Uh, I'm not saying that for these players either. You have to feel a ton of sympathy. These guys are still being paid to play a game, guys, but it's very, very tough to go through a stretch like this, especially for young basketball players. And then, Casey Johnson also spoke to how tall the task is moving forward going into these last 24 games in the season. There may not be a ton of winning going on, guys, and that's going to be something that this team is going to have to embrace moving forward. This coaching staff is going to have to embrace. This front office is going to have to kind of prepare for. So the February woes are real. Just a few more games to close out the month, but as I said a while ago, kind of moving into this month, I don't expect there to be a lot of winning post trade deadline when they dumped everybody, guys. So Bulls Hornets tonight at the United Center. Kobe White making his return to United Center, making his Charlotte Hornets debut. Excited to see that. So some storylines in this game, guys. That'll wrap up today's show. Thank you guys for joining me on another episode of Bulls Latest. We will see you guys tomorrow.